Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, and today we are going to be running through my favorite albums of the month. My favorite albums from January of 2022. So this is a brand new series I'm doing. I started this channel last year in like the middle of the year, so I didn't really do a monthly segment because I'd already missed a bunch of months. But now that I'm starting in January this year, I figure I will do this at the end of every month, just kind of recapping all my favorite albums from that month. So typically, you know, with a lot of these lists, you see like a top 10. I won't necessarily be committing to doing a top 10 every month. It really just depends on how many awesome albums I think are worthy of being talked about. Some months that might only be 5 or 6 albums. Other months it might be 15 albums. So I'm not limiting myself to only talk about 10. It's however many albums I want to talk about, and just let everyone know that I think you should go check these out because they're worth listening to. So this month I actually have 11 albums that I want to talk about. I'll just start this by saying, like, none of these albums really like completely knocked my socks off, but there's still a handful of really solid releases. Like, I always, when I listen to these albums and I'm scoring them or ranking them, I always score it out of 10. I actually didn't rank anything this month higher than like 8.2 out of 10. So the ones that'll be near the bottom of this list, like first, second, third, those ones are ranked above 8 out of 10, but everything else is just below 8. So yeah, I definitely want to spend some more time with these over the year. Of course, with just being released some of these in the last week or so, the ranking may change over the course of time as I spend a lot more time with these. But for right now, these are my 11 albums that I think you should check out from January. So kicking this off, coming in 11th place, I am going with some power metal from Iceland of all places, the band Paladin with their debut with the Magic of Windfyre Steel. So this is just a really fun album. It's a little over the top, very cheesy. Like, it's got that European power metal kind of vibe to it. Definitely nothing original here, but if you're just looking for a really fun power metal album, definitely go check this out. It's a really easy listen. You don't have to take anything too serious while you're listening to this. It'll put a smile on your face. It's exactly what you want from this kind of power metal album. And yeah, it's worth checking out anyways. Up next at number 10, I'm going with the band Silhouette. Their album is Les Retranchements. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It's very French. So these guys are from France. Kind of get labeled as atmospheric black metal, but I don't think that label really suffices. That doesn't really give you the full picture here. This is their debut record. They're on Antique Records label from France, which is putting out a bunch of great releases. This one is very interesting because it's got these really like gorgeous female vocals, but then interspersed with like the harsher male black metal vocals, and it really blends together to make this really interesting record. It's like, while it is classified as black metal, I really get like a very gentle vibe from this album. Like, the guitar harmonies are almost peaceful. It is very interesting. It's almost got like a neo-folk and like dark wave vibe as well, mixed in with the black metal. So yeah, like I said, it's just a very peaceful record. You can drift off to it, but it's very interesting. It's maybe not consistent the whole way through, but it's definitely worth a listen. That's why it's coming in, just cracking my top 10. Up next at number 9, I'm going with Wilderun and their album Epigone. So I actually did a full review of this album, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it again. You can go listen to my review if you haven't checked that out. It may have come across that I was being pretty negative on this album in my review, which, yeah, there are some things that I really don't like about this record. I don't think it's their best. It doesn't stand up to their others, but there are still some real standout moments here. And overall, I do think it's decent. Maybe it's not a masterpiece, but it is definitely still worth listening to, and it's worth a mention in my list because it is still a pretty decent album, even if I don't think it's on par with a lot of other records that were released this month. Up next at number 8, another debut record. I got a lot of debuts on this list, so bands I had never heard of before, but this one is from Finland, and they are called The Mist from the Mountains. Their album is Monumental, The Temple of Twilight. So try to say that a bunch of times fast. The band name is long, the album name is long, but they really play this melodic black metal with some folk influences. I find the songwriting, even just from song to song, is very varied, like a very different approach in each song, and that keeps it very engaging and very interesting. It's definitely an enjoyable album. I don't have it higher than 8 because I don't think it stands up to some other records, but this is a very enjoyable album. If you like maybe like stuff like old Borknagar, you could kind of get the similar kind of vibe here, mixing in the black metal with some folk. And this one's really got like a Finnish flavor to it as well. And like all in all, I definitely recommend going to check this out, at least give it a few spins, because it is a solid album. Up next at number 7 is another album that I did a review for. This is Abyssus with their album Death Revival. So this is some death metal from Greece. Like I said, I did review this, so you can go check that out to get a way more in-depth analysis of this. But this is just a super fun, old-school death metal record. These guys are obviously very inspired by bands like Death and Obituary. And those inspirations just flow through the music. Like, you just feel that vibe. It feels like it was recorded in the late 80s, early 90s. It has that same kind of style to it. So if you're into old school death metal at all and just want like a throwback kind of album that's going to put a smile on your face and that you can bang your head to, definitely go check this out, because it is a solid slab of old school death metal. Up next at number 6 is one that I'm probably going to mispronounce. It's like Wiegedood or Wiegedood. I don't know exactly how to say it. Wiegedood. I don't know. Their album, There's Always Blood at the End of the Road. This is some black metal from Belgium. And this is very weird kind of black metal. It's very angry and aggressive and harsh, but the riffs are very interesting. Pummeling drums throughout the whole thing. It's just a very relentless fury of hatred, but it's executed extremely well, and it's very interesting. These songs go all over the place. It's very non-stop. Like, yeah, you're not going to have a moment here to catch your breath. It is just relentless black metal the whole way through, but I really dig it. Solid album in at number 6. Now we're into the top 5, my favorite 5 albums from January. So coming in 5th, I'm going with some traditional heavy metal from the UK, the band Eliminator with their album Ancient Light. So this is a band that's definitely very inspired by like 80s era Iron Maiden. Definitely capture that vibe and sound, and that's what they're going for. So another one where maybe it's not that original, is a throwback to an old sound, but it's another one that's executed very well. Like, this is very solid stuff. It's got great riffs, great solos. The vocals are very Bruce Dickinson-esque. Like, it really actually sounds like Iron Maiden in parts. So maybe that's not going to be for everyone if you don't want to hear like a band that's maybe, I don't want to call them a copycat, because they're not. They're doing their own thing, but they're definitely taking tons of inspiration from early 80s metal, specifically Iron Maiden. But like I said, the songs are great. They're catchy. They're going to stick in your head. Solid album. That's why I said number 5. Up next at number 4, maybe more of an underrated, unknown black metal album, Nocturnal Triumph with their self-titled album. So these guys are from the US, and they just play a very unique brand of US black metal. It's just chock full of great riffs. It's very harsh, but it's really got this nice underlying melody as well. I really dig the riffs on this album a lot. That's the best part about this album, is the fucking guitar riffs for sure. This is one of the better black metal albums of the year so far. It's January, so saying of the year is kind of a stupid statement. Of the month, whatever, a year, month, same thing in January. But yeah, definitely probably an underappreciated one. But if you have not heard Nocturnal Triumph, go check out this album, because it fucking slays. Up next at number 3, some more black metal. Maybe there's a theme here. Yeah, most of the albums I listen to are black metal these days, but I like to sprinkle in some death metal and some power metal and traditional metal here and there. But yeah, coming at number 3, some more black metal, again from Finland, and another debut record. These guys are called Vaino, and their album is Metsänpeitto. Probably mispronouncing that. I'm going to struggle with these ones that are not in English, but I do my best. So yeah, this is more in the raw, old school black metal variety, but it's got that very Finnish sound. But it's also bringing in like tons of melody. I absolutely love this style of black metal. Like, yes, it's raw and got that old school production, but the guitar melodies are fucking gorgeous at the same time. Like, this is just the perfect kind of music if you want to take an icy voyage through the forest and just get lost in nature. This is the kind of album for that. Like, I fucking dig this one a lot. This could even be higher than 3. It's definitely another one that's very unknown and underrated. So if you have not heard this album, definitely go check it out. It's not very long. It's only like 35 minutes, give or take. So you can rip through it pretty quickly, but it's fucking solid. So if you're into black metal at all with nice melodies, definitely go check this out. Up next at number 2 is another album that I did a review for. This is Vastatum with Mercurial States of Revelation. So this is some Canadian black metal. Like I said, I did review it, so I'm not going to go too in depth here. You can go check that out. This one might be cheating a little bit because the physical album doesn't actually come out until February, but the digital version is already released, so I'm including it in January. I'm only included again in February, but yeah, this one is really fucking solid. Just solid songwriting. The riffs are just swirling. The drumming is fucking relentless. It's just awesome stuff. Really solid black metal released from my homeland of Canada. So if you've not checked out Vastatum's Mercurial States of Revelation, do yourself a favor and go give it a listen. So that just leaves one album. My favorite album of the month is going to Ereb Altor with Vargtimman. So yeah, these guys are from Sweden, been around quite some time, play a really unique blend of like epic doom with Viking metal, with black metal thrown in there as well. Definitely very inspired by Bathory, especially the Viking era, but then bringing in some black metal as well. So kind of all eras of Bathory jammed together. I did a full review of this one as well, so you can go check that out for more details. But all I have to say is that the opening track, I Have the Sky, is probably my favorite song of the month by anyone. It's just so fucking catchy, and it just sticks in my head. There's not really any black metal in that song at all. It's just like a nice, doomy, epic song, very much in the, like, Hammerheart era of Bathory kind of style. But I fucking dig it so much. It's really stuck in my head all the time. Probably my favorite song of the month, like I said, and it is my favorite album of the month. So anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. I'd love to get your thoughts down below. I'm sure I missed a shit ton of albums. There's a lot of stuff that came out this month. I haven't been able to listen to everything. There are obviously a few other albums I've listened to that I didn't include on this list because I just didn't think they were worth mentioning. But yeah, let me know down below which albums you think I missed. What were your favorite albums of the month? And what did you think of these top albums that I talked about? Anyways, until next time, give me a like and give me a subscribe. Hammerheart Metal Reviews out.